You ever wonder what a morning backpacking is like? Maybe not, but you clicked. So that means I'm going to tell you anyway. This morning routine keeps me fueled, connected, and ready to crush big miles. Let me walk you through it. All right, so first thing in the morning is slipping the shoes on for an awkward run to a bush to relieve some internal pressure, if you know what I mean. I've been holding it, waiting for the sun to come up and warm things up a bit before, well, you know. Okay, I'll come clean. The first time out of the tent was to set up the camera to capture myself running for the bushes. That feels a bit weird to admit out loud, but the first thing I do up in the mountains is set up a camera to capture video of myself going to water the wildflowers. Embarrassing. Anyway, something I've incorporated into my regular daily routine lately is meditation. Life has really been throwing some curveballs at me the last year or so, and I actually got to a really low place a few months ago. I started listening to a book called Waking Up, and I knew I could really benefit from meditating. Since starting several months ago, I've only missed a few days, and it has made a massive difference in my life. I actually started facing the lake and felt like the rock was slanted the other way, so was having a hard time staying upright. It was distracting me enough I decided to pause, turn around. It was a little chilly this morning, so I was going to do it in the tent, but this rock seemed too perfect, and after getting out of the tent, I was really soaking in the beauty of the world around me. So I took my practice outside, and I'm really glad that I did. This was honestly one of my most memorable meditation sessions I've ever had. Just sitting in the mountains and breathing it all in was indescribable. That sunrise over the hill right in front of me was just incredible. My eyes were closed, but I can still remember the moment the sun peeked over the mountains. I just loved it. I typically use pre-recorded sessions from the Waking Up app, but today I decided to forego that and just listen to the wind in the mountains instead. It was definitely the right decision. As a side note, apparently I can give out 30-day free trials to the Waking Up app, which is pretty cool because it's actually kind of expensive at $150 a year. Let me be clear here, I get absolutely nothing if you use the link, but I wanted to share it in case you've considered meditating but weren't sure where to start. There's a 4-week intro course that I really liked, and if you're not ready for that, maybe check out the book Waking Up. I loved that as well. There's an Amazon and Audible link in the description and pinned comment. Next, I've come to really enjoy and rely on a morning nutrition shake and supplements in the backcountry. It's essentially the same as what I do at home each morning, which, by the way, has been a big part of my losing about 60 pounds over the last 8 months and feeling better than I have in years. So I like keeping this part of my morning consistent on trail. It's got ground quinoa for complex carbs and whole grains, psyllium husk powder for a massive soluble fiber boost, collagen for joint, tendon, and gut health. At home, I put some vanilla extract in it as well to help with the flavor, but that won't work well on trails, so I just skip it. Next, a pinch of Redmond sea salt and some light salt. This has trace minerals and tons of electrolytes, sodium and potassium, and helps with the flavor too. Then some Ceylon cinnamon as an anti-inflammatory and an awesome flavor boost. And you probably noticed on my counter that it is definitely peach season where I live. We're lucky enough to have several peach trees in our backyard. Next is some matcha green tea for a ridiculous dose of antioxidants and a caffeine boost, creatine for hydration and muscle recovery, glutamine for muscle recovery, and lastly, some protein powder. I put all that in a Ziploc bag. I prefer reusable bags, but I couldn't find the ones I typically use because we're still unpacking boxes from our move. I'll find them eventually. I dump that all into my Nalgene with a blender ball, shake it up, and then chug it down. It doesn't taste like ice cream, but I don't mind it, and it helps me feel amazing, so I actually love it. As far as my supplements, I bring my regular pills plus a few extras to help fill in gaps where my diet is lacking on trail. Omega-3s, which, by the way, if you're taking a fish oil or omega-3 supplement, you may be shocked at how little omega-3s you're actually getting. I know I was with my previous supplement, so I found these ones on Amazon that have more than twice as much as my previous supplement. Nice. Also, Jocko Joint Warfare. I swear my knees should be sponsored by this stuff. I love it. Vitamin K2 for the ticker, and then some pre and probiotics, as well as a green supplement, since, as I said before, my trail diet is definitely lacking on those last two things. Once I'm done with the shake, I use my smart water bottle sport cap to sort of squirt water down the sides of the inside of my Nalgene to try to get all the leftover powders and gunk and stuff, so I've got an almost clean Nalgene for whatever I put in it next. After 2 rounds, it looks pretty good. It's trail clean, right? Next up, we got to brush the bicuspids with these toothpaste tabs. If you're still bringing a tube of toothpaste backpacking, you should really try these tablets. Super convenient, easy, and I love how minty they are. I also love this awesome mini toothbrush from Garage Grown Gear. Sometimes they'll throw one in free with your order. If not, I think they're 99 cents. And I usually chuck it in the dishwasher after every backpacking trip, and it's lasted me quite a while. Now it's time for one of my favorite parts of the morning, a nice hot cup of green tea while I read and journal. Depending on the trip, I may save this for the evening if I'm trying to hit the trail early and really crank out a big mileage day. But this trip wasn't like that, so I got to sit in my chair, watch the sunrise, and just relax with my green tea, book, and journal. I love it. My favorite morning tea is a specific type of green tea called Gyokuro. It has an amazing smooth flavor, and I also love that the first cup is steeped at 140 degrees, because then I don't have to wait at all for it to cool down before I take my first sip. My favorite leaves come from a company called Sujimoto Tea Company, but they are pretty expensive, so I found some from Amazon that are almost as good. I buy loose leaf and use these reusable cotton tea bags from Amazon as well. They work great, and then I just run them through the wash when I get home so they are ready for the next trip. Another thing I love about Gyokuro tea is that the second steep with the same leaves is just as good as the first, maybe even better. And I love having 2 cups in the morning. Looks like I also took the opportunity to finally change out of my sleep clothes between cups. Took you long enough, Jeff. Now that I'm fully caffeinated as well as self-reflected, it's time to pack up camp. I'll leave my mugs and a few other things out to dry while I pack up my sleep system, tent, and everything else. I like leaving my sleep system set up in my tent while I enjoy my tea and do those other things in the morning, because it gives my quilt and other stuff some time for any moisture to dissipate before I pack it up. I get everything out of my tent and into my pack, and then my tent is typically one of the last things into my pack along with my food bag, so I can access both food and shelter quickly if needed. Sometime between packing and when I hit the trail, I'll also grab some kind of breakfast bar. It just kind of depends on when I start to feel hungry. I love my chair to set my pack on as I'm finishing packing up, and it usually goes right on top of my pack so I can whip it out if I feel the need for a comfy trail break in the middle of the day. Besides the chair, you probably noticed several other things in this video that are definitely not ultralight, but are major parts of my morning routine and overall backpacking experience. Check this video out next to see me confess my other ultralight sins from this trip, and feel free to share your confessions in the comments as well. At this point, we're all packed up and ready to go, except I forgot to tie my shoes, so we better do that before hitting the trail. I'd love to hear about your morning trail routines. Share them in the comments if you're willing, and remember, life is better with some dirt in it.